In China, facial recognition technology has been integrated into even the most basic facets of everyday life. It's raised long-time concerns over government surveillance. But recent Chinese media reports show the data is easily leaked and often snatched by criminals.
In mainland China, facial recognition is a constant presence in people's daily lives. Taking the subway, checking into a hotel, paying bills, and even using public restrooms. But widespread circulation of the data has caused security problems. Recently, Chinese state media reported that online shopping platforms are now publicly selling people's private information along with their photos, all for a mere 50 cents per person. Chinese resident Mr. Li said he was in contact with someone selling that kind of information. He described the amount of data being traded are very concerning. He shared only his last name with us out of fear of retaliation from authorities.
There is a guy who sells that information. He can get anything. You just give him a name and he can tell you about his family members and everything. It's quite scary. A lot of such data has been used for criminal activities.
According to a Chinese media report, aside from a person's photo, the information pack also includes the person's ID number, bank account details, and cell phone number. Criminals can use that information to steal money from the target's bank accounts or even blackmail them. Another resident, Mr. Wang, complained about authorities' lack of action and refusal to stop the digital fraud.
When you say something online that's negative about the government, the police will show up immediately at your door and take you away. But now with so much online fraud, you hardly see the authorities arrest anyone.
Last year, a survey by a Beijing research institute showed some 74% of Chinese residents don't like to use facial recognition technology to verify their identity. Many cited concerns over their biometric data being hacked or otherwise leaked. The technology has also been used by the Chinese regime to suppress the Uyghur ethnic group in Xinjiang. Last October, the U.S. sanctioned several Chinese companies that develop facial recognition technology. That's after they provided surveillance services to the Chinese police, used to persecute Uyghurs. The Chinese regime have used the pandemic to ramp up its surveillance. Reuters reported that as Chinese universities reopens, many colleges have installed facial recognition systems on campus in the name of epidemic control. Students have found cameras inside their dorms and are made to submit information about their detailed movement on campus. Beijing has also been known to sell the technology to other repressive regimes. Penny Zhou, NTD News.
Top U.S. officials spoke earlier of China's efforts to interfere in U.S. elections. They described present issues and firmly declared the administration would not tolerate the behavior.
According to National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, quote, "The biggest failure of American foreign policy over the past 40 years is how we dealt with China."
I mean, the scope of Chinese activity against the United States is relentless. We've never seen anything like it. It was nothing like this in the Cold War with the Soviets.
In particular, he spoke of China's theft of U.S. intellectual property, which he says has already driven out countless jobs and entire sectors based on American innovation. O'Brien also spoke of China's large role in trying to influence the November election. According to him, the FBI is opening a new espionage case against China every 10 hours.
There's always going to be propaganda. There's always going to be efforts to influence us. And again, we know that the Chinese have taken the most active role, but the Russians and the Iranians and other countries are involved as well. So we're going to keep monitoring it, and we're going to do everything we can to protect the sanctity of our election. That's the foundation of our democracy. That's what makes us America. And we're just not going to tolerate it.
The White House is directing U.S. government agencies to submit extensive data on federal funding, particularly money that's either meant to counter China or aid it. Agencies are expected to respond by September 21st. A White House Office of Management and Budget document seen by Reuters details the order. According to the document, this information will inform policymakers on U.S. spending that involves China. Examples include funds for programming to counter the Belt and Road Initiative, as well as programs whose primary purpose is to offset Chinese technology like 5G wireless communications.